Hey, how's it going? Pardon me. Here, look at signs before I start. Excuse me. So, hi. I have some cards to read for you. I pulled two cards, and the one I pulled from the Shaman's Oracle deck, Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, is Covenant Sacred Contract, the number 7 card. So, I mean, it pretty much says what it is if you don't know what covenant means. It's an agreement. It can be a legal agreement, like a deed or a lease or something like that, that's a legal contract. You could have other agreements like verbal agreements, handshake contracts, things outside of the realm of you happen to have a legal official to, give validity to your agreement. And well, I thought, of the agreements we make with ourselves. And that was about as far as I went with it. I just kind of pulled the card and looked at it and then just like put it down and went on with the rest of my day, which I just devoted. Well, okay, here's a covenant I made with myself. I'm sure I've mentioned I have problems with my shoulders, and so I could have gone out today. It was kind of trying to rain. Not trying very hard, but off and on throughout the day it was a little rainy. And even though I am not having a whole lot of pain, I wasn't having a whole lot of pain in my shoulder today. I thought, you know what? I'm not gonna give myself pain by going out there and inflaming it. I'm gonna take the clue that it's like feeling okay today and not take it outside and put it through, its paces and strain it again or whatever. And it was hard because I want to get out there while the weather's good. It wasn't great today, but this is so-called summer, so. But in order to just kind of keep going and then to just break up my schedule, such as it is, and just do something completely different. I didn't have plans. I didn't do anything that was a plan, but I did not do what I had, which would be like the tentative plan, no matter what, which would be to go out on my trike and get some fresh air and exercise. Well, I got the fresh air. I was out on my deck tinkering around with my garden, my plants, which, oh, my poor flowers. Well, anyway, so, and it was hard to stick to it. Like, all day, I'm like, it's not raining now. You could just go out. And I had to keep telling myself, yeah, I know it's not, but we're just going to do this today. Like, it's so hard to not mess with things and stick to the contract. So, we do that kind of thing with ourselves all the time, like dieters, and it is hell. Okay, as someone who has had my weight go up and down, I can't even begin to tell you what's going on in anyone else's mind when it comes to that, but it is like I wasn't fat all my life. Something happened, and I was just a young person, a child actually, and it seemed like my only defense was to gain weight. And if you're getting a hint of what that situation was that I don't really want to specify, let's just say someone ignored boundaries and you know, and that's kind of a contract too. When you know someone, you kind of take it for granted. It's kind of like an unspoken rule where you don't force yourself on someone. Like if people are saying no, then no means no. So, but you have a contract with that person, and you have a lifelong responsibility to this person. I'm not talking about myself in this dynamic. I'm talking about the other person. And so that right there should mean that you're going to throw yourself on the train tracks when the train is right there and snatch your loved one away. And that contract, that covenant, oh my God, I just said it was violated. So that's not great. And I wonder if that's not what I'm supposed to be talking about here, because right before I started doing this, I was watching videos while I set up, and they were talking about the case that was against Matt Gaetz and the former tax attorney in Florida. I cannot remember the guy's name. Shame on me, but like I'm just thinking of this right now, so sorry. But that friend of Gaetz, who was as in that crime as this other person was, and the crime was basically sex trafficking minors. And the report I just saw, God, this is yucky, to be honest, said that the victim, I believe there was more than one, but it may be like the victim that everyone was talking about, who went unnamed when this story first came out. And I don't want to go into the details of like all of that, except to say that this report was saying that since this victim has come forward, she is saying that what happened with her didn't happen just one time and with just the two people named, Gaetz and the former tax guy, but with many Florida elected officials, and she was naming names. So it's about to get interesting in that area of news. But they made an agreement with this girl, and I don't know how they don't see the danger in this, but I guess she was on a sugar baby site, and if she was 17, I don't even know if that's legal. Like, should she have even been on there, given what the site is for? And so, wait, am I getting that confused with something else? I'm pretty sure that's what I just heard. I just saw a show that had something so damn similar that it's hard to... Joe Pickett was the show on Paramount, by the way. But the storyline was so similar to this, where, you know, the girl was in with these people, and I'm gonna assume that all of these unnamed electric well, it is the electric chair state, isn't it? Is it still? I don't know. Anyway, elected officials that were having their way with this girl, and then, you know, they have wives and families, and that's just, it's not kosher. It's like, people think that they can just get away with any dang thing. Well, they kind of can. I think that's what part of the struggle is in this country, is that some people can get away with murder and everything else, seems like, and they can not report it. I'm thinking of someone else, a prominent citizen in this country, and take all kinds of liberties with their position that they are expressly not supposed to do. And the person doesn't seem to be very truthful. It seems like things just roll out of their mouth that are expedient at the time and not necessarily true at all. And there's another covenant broken. This is a person that is highly placed in our society that makes decisions as part of the decision making group of people at like the top of our government, pretty much. And dude's a liar. So, if it were anybody else, I mean, now I just think that, but I've thought that for a long time because this person has been pulling this crap since, I believe, the 80s with the non-truth. But, you know, they were appointed to their position. They have it for life, if that's a clue for you. And they claim that something they got caught doing, they don't know the law, and what the hell are you doing there then? Because if you don't know the law, GTFO, man. We want competent people in charge, and also not liars. He's not the only one. So they're all over the place, the covenants, you know, on a personal level, on a public level, you understand? So, boy, let me name a covenant that's good, that's not broken, that's not, you know, something that needs to be investigated. Well, it would be the first one I was talking about between an adult and their loved one. It doesn't have to be a parent, but it also very well could be. But, you know, when you're young, at least when I was young, a lot of the adults participated in caring for me on both sides of my family. And it was understood between them and my parent, my mother, that, you know, they were, certain things were expected of them as in regard to me, like don't let me eat poison or get in front of a bus that's going to mow me down, like whatever it is, like protection. You know, you're supposed to show a level of love and concern for the child, and otherwise you don't get to take them out in your car and whatever. So that was a very fulfilling experience of my life, and it was a result of I don't want to say unspoken as far as like it didn't happen, but unspoken as far as I didn't hear it. I don't know what was discussed between the adults. I was grew up in that period of speak when you're spoken to, and basically if you're listening, don't. You know, and but I know that was the case because I was well cared for. Well, no one messed. No, I was well cared for. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I'm gonna read from the guidebook about the covenant card. Should have cleaned my glasses first. Commitment, sacred contract, the greater good. You're now being invited by the universe to enter into a sacred contract. The covenant card may also be a call to recognize that an ancient agreement you made with spirit needs to be renewed or canceled and torn up. Is an opportunity showing up right now that is full of promise, but you are unable to sign and seal the deal and commit to it? The reason is that it needs to be elevated to a sacred covenant. A covenant must be founded on the truth, not your truth or his truth or her truth, but a greater truth that takes the destiny of all into account. I would submit here that when you're taking care of a child, particularly if it's not your child, that applies what I just said. So, to continue, the covenant is not about your agenda only. The covenant is not about your agenda only. Spirit must be invited to come to the table as guarantor of the good faith of all, and to ensure that the direction you are embarking in will be for the greater good. It's important that you understand what you are signing up for. Be sure to read the fine print so as not to commit to something you will soon regret or will compromise your integrity. Yeah, I'm going to back it up here and talk about my favorite thing, which is the soul contract, the birth contract. Because here it's saying the covenant is not about your agenda only. Spirit must be invited to come to the table as guarantor of the good faith of all and to ensure that the direction you're embarking in will be for the greater good. So, what I have learned about stuff like the birth contract is that you're here in service. It is a gift and a tribute to you, like the you that you don't really remember, most of us, beyond the veil. So we come here to contribute to this effort for the greater good, and it's a multi-layered. It's a very multi-layered, complex mesh of things. There is humanity and the way that we are treating each other and our environment, including everything in it. Everything. And there's so many things that we as humans are here to go through and learn from, including everything that's happening in the world right now. Like I say it all the time, that it is a covenant that we've all made collectively. It sounds so insane, but every being on this world has a part in the agreement to be here and what happens. So it's like that butterfly across the world flapping its wings and causing a hurricane somewhere else. It's that kind of connection. And this is where it gets kind of hard for me, but everything everyone does, everything that happens is like part of the plan, part of the agreement. But some horrible things have to happen. And we're definitely supposed to feel something from whatever the event was, and that's kind of part of the point. But at the same time, whomever commits the most heinous kind of act is still actually part of the greater good. Like, the easiest way I could say it is it provides contrast for us to see and experience, and then whatever decision we make from there, to go left or go right, go light or go dark, whatever the outcome is, like, it may seem like, oh my God, so horrible, but if you can remember all this other stuff, then, and I think this is a leap, because I'm still trying to, like, make it and stay on the other side of that, and, like, and stick the landing, but even the horrible stuff, and the way we all feel, and the way it looks, is part of the plan. Like, that is what we are here to do, be, and experience. And even the bad stuff is not bad. It's good. It's part of it. And like, I've heard the Arcturians, who I listen to and get a lot from, daily, they say that, this is this is enjoyment. This is like a great thrill. And so I would say it's like I would liken it to a roller coaster or a theme park, because I've heard that analogy made many times, different ones for the planet, but certainly that one, and in a lot of ways, boy, does it apply. So, anyway, that's what I have to say about that. I may have more to say. What am I doing on time here? Oh, not bad. Okay, so the other card I pulled was from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. And it was the oyster card. And just looking at the card, the one thing I noticed was, well, the black background and that there's colorful specks on it, colorful specks on the card, sort of a rainbow situation, and it's like foreshadowing of what's to come that's going on inside that oyster. And if you look around the edges, it's like light springing out of it. You know what it reminds me of? Although I'm just going to say up front, we know what's going to happen inside an oyster. Like, we know what we're going to generally open it up and find. And it's just the light sparking out where you can't really see what's going on inside of there. It reminds me of like in Pulp Fiction, when the restaurant scene, when Tim Roth, can't believe Sugar Bear, I think was his character's name, was holding the gun on. I did not know I was going to talk about this, and I should know this. On Sugar Bear was holding the gun on Samuel L. Jackson's character. Dang, I know this. Anyway, and he wants him to open up the suitcase, so he lets him see what's in there, and you never see the contents of the suitcase. And Quentin Tarantino has said it's a MacGuffin, which is a red herring, a misdirection, a distraction. And it's used so much. I think it was used in Indiana Jones in the first one. It was used in Repo Man with Emilio Estevez. That was the first time I saw it. So anyway, that's what it reminds me of. Like I said, we know what's in an oyster, but the thing about an oyster is that they can come out of there, like you might expect it to be white. And when they're white, they have opalescence, which is so funny because it's white, but when I look at it, I see like colors, sparks, or what is the word? Oh my God. You can see colors in the pearls. It's weird. They look like they're kind of emanating light. And maybe that's what the vibration of the color is, but from within and sort of in and throughout the pearlness I get impressions of colors like on this card. And we're in the dark as to what's really in there, because you could open it up and find a black pearl. They come in different colors, and I actually took a pearl course a couple of years ago, and the things that can affect the color are like where the actual seed pearl itself came from, the water that it goes in, because the pearl producing oysters and mussels that are on jewelry, that's where they come from, is pearls and mussels. And for those, there are farms and they import like breeds of oysters. And so if you take, just like with a plant, if you take it out of one environment and move it to somewhere else, I mean, I guess it's like anything else, like a person. If you move somewhere else, well, or if you go somewhere else for an amount of time, like a few days in the beginning period of that, you may not have a bowel movement, because I'm not sure what causes that. Is some sort of upset, obviously, with your system, but it could be the change in environment, like different water, different air, food produced in a different area. You know, it could be so many things. So it's the same with oysters. And you just don't really know, like the MacGuffin, what kind of pearl is going to be in there. But it's all good. Like I was saying, the horrible stuff is also good. It's all good. The bad is also good. And that's hard to compute, but I'm just going to keep trying. So that's what I have come up with today. It doesn't seem like I talked much about what I have to do on the cards, but kind of. Anyway, thank you and good night.